Welcome to Connected with Lori. I am your host, Lori Caruso. I have a great guest in the studio today, Steve Turner from Turner Upholstery and Bring Back the Trades. Hi, Steve. How are you?
Hi, Lori. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining today. I know it's been a while. I had you on the show last year.
Yeah.
It was on Lori and Bean, and then I think we also had a call-in for you
Yes,
too,
we did
right?
have a call-in, yes.
We have a lot to talk about, but we haven't had a conversation in a while, and I'm super curious. So Bring Back the Trades, a big passion for you. When you started, having that be part of Turner Upholstery and what you're doing, talk to us a little bit about Bring Back the Trades so the audience understands what you do and your passions behind it.
So Bring Back the Trades is a 501c3 scholarship program. We're trying to bring awareness to the lack of the younger youth going into the trades. So I started a scholarship fund. We raise money and we give out a scholarship once a month for 9 months throughout the school year. So that's what we're all about. We're just trying to bring awareness to the parents that there's more out there than just college. We're not against college. My son just graduated and very successful, and we're all proud of him. But there's a lot of kids that are left behind because they don't want to go to college, and we want them to know that the trades are a great option.
Yeah. I'm in an industry too, and I see the trades being a challenge. It's very challenging for sure to be able to have people come in from an education standpoint and also to continue to fill those positions, so to speak. And, with that, I see a ton of use here. I know that you also said in some of our conversations, electrical. You had stats on it. It was really intriguing to me and why I'm so passionate about this. Tell us a little bit about that. Some of the stats you see from the electrician side.
Yeah, as far as electrical and plumber in the in New Hampshire, the average age of a plumber and electrician is like 55 to 65 years old. So if we don't get kids into the trades within the next 10 years or next 5 years, all those guys are going to be retiring. But the biggest problem that I try and explain to them and the parents is if they don't find somebody to take on their business, that business closes. So even if it has 10 employees and those employees don't want to be the owner, they no longer have a job. And there's nobody to fill those businesses. So that's our biggest problem. Like me, I've been in business for 32 years. I have one guy that's been with me 17 years. He is 42. He's already told me when, we're pretty close in age. So when I close, unless I find somebody to take over my business, it closes. And that's the hardest part that I'm talking to these people. It's more what their business is worth to them when they go to retire. There's nobody to take it over. So, I try and explain to the parents that, that not only is it a great job, but it's not just a job. If they work long enough, they can take over the business, and now they're a business owner. So there's a lot to it.
There is a lot to it for sure. So with that as well, you're looking at these businesses that you want to see thrive. That's obviously the challenge. Mm-hmm. You don't want that business to go out. Mm-hmm. So how do you bridge the gap, so to speak, from the process of what you deliver from a scholarship program and the trade school itself? Do you work with the trade schools? Do you actually align to be able to do that, to produce that educational experience for everyone?
Well, right now we don't. We're working with the Hampton Trade School right now, but we're such a small organization right now that we're trying, and what's going on in the world right now, we can't really get out to the schools. As of last year, we would actually go to the schools, the high schools, middle schools, and we would set up a trade fair in the auditorium with 5 or 6 different, we have Pella, we have Paul Merschenard, they're a plumbing outfit, and Pella does windows. And me as a upholsterer, we have a whole bunch of guys or women doing their trade, and the kids would come in and would learn that trade for a half day. So we would actually go to the schools. But as far as get back to the answer about the trade schools, we're trying to get out there to align ourselves with them to show, advertise more of the schools out there, because there's a lot of them in New Hampshire and there's a lot of them in Mass. But we're too small. We need more help getting out there to tell the kids, basically.
That's it. I'm sure resource-wise. Yeah. I'm having these conversations in my industry, and every partner that I work with, when I talk about Bring Back the Trades, every single person has said, oh my goodness, that is so important to us. We, need to support that, and we need to really push that effort because it's so critical and so important for us. So Steve, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back to Connected with Lori. We have Steve Turner from Bring Back the Trades in the studio. Steve, so I know your passions with Bring Back the Trades. I know why you wanted to do that, but talk to us a little bit about your current position at Turner Upholstery and how you see it for future and what the evolution has been like for you.
Yeah, when I first started in 1982, I was a sophomore in high school. Back in those days, everything in a car would come off with a couple of clips and a screwdriver. Since then, everything has changed. Now we have airbags in the roof, the seats, everywhere. Back in the day, we could take a seat cover off on the back part, your backrest. We could replace all the panels. Today, there's an airbag in your seat. We are not allowed to touch those. We can replace panels around that. When I say replace the panel, meaning we unstitch the bad part and stitch in a new one from scratch with our sewing machines. The cars have just evolved where you used to be just a backyard mechanic and do it. Today you have to be certified. You really have to be really careful too, because the airbag can actually go off in your face and can do severe damage if you don't know what you're doing. Plus, when you unbolt a seat out of a car and you unplug it and put it back in, you'll see the airbag light will stay on in the car. So you have to have software that will get rid of, or not get rid of, but will make the car know that the airbag is still intact and the light will stay off. So there's a lot that's changed compared to when I was a younger kid. So, and that's the fact in all the trades right now.
I can imagine, but at what point were you told, hey, you need to go through the certification and you need to know what you're doing here? I mean, clearly the evolution happens and you're saying, okay, well, I need to learn that. But how did you get that training?
Basically, well, in my field, we don't have to have the training, but plumbing you do, electrical you do, but as far as upholstery, you don't have to be certified. You just really, you have to go with the times and learn step by step. So it's a learning. The cars didn't change overnight. They would change slowly.
Gradually.
Like the airbags were just in the dashboard and the steering wheel in the day. Then they moved them forward to where they were in the door panels, the headliners. As the cars evolved for safety reasons, the government made them change. They made them do that. But what I'm forgetting too is a lot of the panels can't be fixed like they used to be able to because of the airbags. We have to buy all new parts. So in this special way that the door panel will come off, and if you don't know how to take it off, you'll break the door panel, and the door panel could be $2,000–3,000. So there's a lot
Costly.
You have to really we do have programs that we can look at to see how it comes apart. Believe it or not, sometimes it'll be a little tiny clip that you don't see it's there, but if you don't take it off first, the whole thing breaks. So it can get costly and scary.
Scary, for sure, especially if an airbag deploys.
Yes, yep.
I know that usually if I have to fix something at home, I'll YouTube it, but I'm sure it's a little bit more so than YouTube.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So on another note, I know this Bring Back the Trades, the passion and everything, but I swear to gosh, I was driving the other day in Stratham. Pretty sure I passed you running. And then I think I was driving to, Boston. Pretty sure I saw you again. I think it was like in a course of 4 hours. Steve, what are you doing out there? You're running everywhere. Talk to me about that.
Well, that's a long story. We don't have enough time for that. But it actually, it all started, my running really started 20 years ago. I celebrated my 20th year of sobriety on the 1st of August.
Congratulations.
So the reason why I got into running is when I gave up the drinking, I chose to go to sweets, ice cream, everything else. So I gradually gained a lot of weight over my time. So, and I had lost, and not to jump around, but I lost my best friend due to a severe car crash. He was type 2 diabetic. So I lost him, and that was prior. But make a long story short, my wife said to me, "You got to go get a physical." So I got a physical, and I was type 2 diabetic too. So it severely put me into a place where I don't want this to happen to me. So I got past the drinking, but then I saw a dietitian. This was in 2006 or November 2016, so almost 17. She said, you got to start losing some weight. So I'm not a gym guy, but I did go to Plant Fitness, and swear to God, me and my son were running on the treadmills, and I actually did that thing that you see on TV where you turn it up too fast and go flying backwards. And I had these 3 young girls laughing their butts off at me. No. I wish I could go back and say, look at me now. So then I said, what, I just really can't do the gym. So I did telephone pole to telephone pole. I got 1 mile, then I did 2 miles. And I'm like, maybe I can do this. So then I said, you know what? We used to run the Saunders Road Race every August. But back then we did it because there was beer at the end.
Yeah.
So that's why I ran the race.
I was in that race.
Not for the drink, it was for the drinking. So it wasn't for running. So I said, you know what? I want to be able to do that race in August. That was a 6-mile race. So within 2 months, I was running 15 miles. And I said, you know what? I enjoy this. It was a high back then. So then I did that, and then that was in August. In I think the following September, I did my first marathon. And I gradually just started really running every single day. I did the Boston Marathon, and then I did a 50-mile run 2 years ago. And then my sister was saying, "Hey, have you seen the Vermont 100?" And I said, "What is that?" She goes, "It's a 100-mile race up in Vermont. They run nonstop through the woods." I said, "Yeah, not a chance I could do something like that." An hour later, I'm like, I'm the kind of person, I just sign up for things. It's like, if I can't do it, I'll figure it out when I get there. So it's usually statistics on this race. It usually takes a runner 5 years to complete it, meaning finish the race. And they have two things. If you finish it under 24 hours, you get a special medal because it's a 30-hour race. Well, believe it or not, the first time I did it under 24 hours by 8 minutes.
Wow.
So then I did that, but I run every single day. I run 10 miles every single day, and then on weekends I run, usually 50 miles. But my next one that I've got coming up is 240 miles in Utah. It's the Moab 240-mile endurance race. It's 4.5 days. But it's up over 4 mountains of 10,000 feet. And I just got the forecast yesterday that it's going to be 70 degrees during the day and less than 20 degrees at night. So this one's going to be tough.
How do you train for this? I mean, I wasn't kidding when I saw you all over the place, but how do you train for something like that?
And I tell everybody that, and nobody believes me, anybody can do this. If you can walk, unless you have severe knee problems, you can do these because I've run the Boston Marathon, and it's a great thing. But for me, I can run fast. I can. But it's hard for me. I'm not a fast runner. So my heart rate just goes boom, boom, boom. And it's not enjoyable for me. But when you do these long runs, it's more of a hike run. So it's enjoyable. And when I say enjoyable, it to many people, it wouldn't be enjoyable because it's such a long miles. But you're not constantly running nonstop. And you're seeing animals and mountains. In the Vermont 100, you actually run through the field that was taped The Sound of Music.
Really?
You run through that, yeah. And you meet from people like the one I'm running now. There's going to be 20 countries running this race.
Wow.
So I'm going to be running with some I'm kind of intimidated because there's going to be some athletes that are just incredible.
What an experience, though.
It is. But the running keeps me straight, meaning keeps me focused with everything that's going on. I need that outlet to just go out and do it. But and I have a friend of mine, Matt Mock. I've been training him for 1.5 years, and when I trained him, he couldn't run a mile. He had severe asthma. He's now running with me 37 miles. So, I mean, it can be done.
Inspiring,
Yeah,
Steve.
my wife thinks I'm crazy, but
wow.
my wife is at every race, and she's the biggest supporter.
Oh, I bet.
Yep.
That's incredible. And what an inspiring story. I'm so happy you were able to share that. Well, Steve, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back to Connected with Lori. We have Steve Turner in the studio, and we're talking about bringing back the trades, a passion for him that he started, and it is an important piece. I'm passionate about it myself, being in the industry and seeing that we have such a challenge with trades and filling those positions. So Steve, we were talking a little bit about, what you're doing out there. Let's talk about also the process. How do people apply for the scholarship? What happens for those students that need a little help and support, and what's the push behind it? How do you do that?
So we have Facebook, we have Instagram, and we basically have word of mouth, but we go out and talk to the businesses. So what you do to apply for it is you have to be on the Northeast. There's 9 different states that we're putting it in right now, hopefully moving it all the way across the country at some point. But you go to the essay part on the website, and you fill out reason why you're eligible or willing to be eligible for the scholarship, and then you have to write a little essay of why you want to win. And I always tell people, considering the trades are not, a lot of the kids aren't really good at penmanship and all that, so I tell them it's not about how you write, just tell your story.
Tell your story.
Yep.
So I'm assuming you probably have one award or so that was recent. Talk to me a little bit about the awards, maybe one that comes to mind.
Yeah, I mean, the one that really comes to mind is Connor Fleming. He won, I think it was September. He is an underwater diver. He does welding and stuff like that under the water, which I didn't even really know they had. So he actually went, don't quote me, but I think it was in Seattle that he went to school. And he just graduated, I think it was in May, and he's got a full-time job working on the seacoast, doing underwater diving and stuff like. He does maintenance and welding and stuff like that. So it's a success story.
Wow.
Yeah.
What are some of the other awards that you've given in certain unique areas?
Yeah, we've given one to, I can't remember her name, but she was in Mason School. They restore antique buildings in Maine. There's a masonry school in Maine. We gave it to her. She goes in and learns masonry. They go to historical sites, houses, stuff like that, and they restore all the mason. So that was another one.
Countless industries, countless jobs.
Yes,
I can
stuff
only
that
imagine.
I don't even remember.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. The list just continues to go on. I mean, we talk about the electricians, the plumbers, the normal things that we would think from a career standpoint, but there's so many other, I would imagine. So talk to us also. I know that you try to get your message out, and you have social media, clearly.
Mm-hmm.
You have a website that they can go visit.
Yep.
How else do you do it?
That's about it. It's Instagram, Facebook. We were going to all the schools, and like I said, we were going to schools. We were doing a lot of trade fairs. We do Cars and Coffee every Sunday. It's the first Sunday of the month. I think it's May through October. We go there and we set up. We have a tent and we set up that. We sell our apparel. We get donations and everybody's walking around. We sell stickers, and we have all kinds of stuff that we get, little trinkets we give away. But that's right now, that's what we're doing, going out and doing it. But our biggest problem right now is trying to get the kids to know about us. Our Facebook page is pretty much all adults, so our main focus right now is letting the kids know that there's money available, and that's our hardest thing, which you wouldn't think it would be that hard to give away money, but right now it's reaching the kids that are eligible for these programs.
There is money available. That's a big message.
Yeah.
Give it away.
Yeah.
You need to have people come in and apply.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, really, really important. What's your website? I know that we were talking about, the social media piece. How do people reach you on the website?
How do they reach us?
Yeah. What's your website address?
Bringbackthetrades.com.
Bring back the trades.
Bring back the trades on Instagram as well.
Okay, good. Yeah, so that's the message. Clearly, you've got money. We need to have some support out there.
Yep.
How do you also? I mean, this is a big challenge. You're one person, right?
Well, I have a board.
And you have a board,
Yes,
right?
I have a board, yes.
Okay, but
Can't
you're
forget about them. They're very important.
very influential and very
They do
important.
great work with me, yes. We've got a tile guy. We've got a machinist. We've got an electrician. We got an IT guy. My wife is very, very proud of her. She's done a really great job. She's a teacher. My son's involved. He does a lot of the Instagram and Facebook, Riley. And then we've got, I think that's 5. So we got a board that's all made up of small business people. So it's great.
So it's great to have their influence and obviously their opinions on, how to make this happen.
Mm-hmm.
But still, you are the forefront.
Yes.
Sounds like you definitely have a great team behind you. But from an expansion perspective, let's say, this is a national effort. This is a global effort. I mean, this is a pain point that we see everywhere. As far as your future, how do you see the growth for Bring Back the Trades?
Like I said earlier, I'm hoping that it's not just the East Coast, it's the whole United States, and Bring Back the Trades is a national name. That's what I'm hoping down the road. A lot of people will make fun of me, or not make fun of me, but will ask me this question: Bring Back the Trades, I don't get it. The trades never went anywhere. I get that all the time. I'm like, that's not what we're about. We're about getting the younger kids back into the trades. They're like, where did the trades ever go? I'm like, it's not that the trades went anywhere. It's the shortage of the younger kids being educated that it's a great job.
If you don't have the backfill, though, I can see that trade actually disappearing. And then we'll be saying, gosh, what happened to? And why isn't that there? That's an important piece.
Yep.
So what a huge message. Steve Turner, Bring Back the Trades. Let's get the message out. Let's get those scholarships filled. Let's get those students back in and fill those positions. I think it's a great effort, and I really appreciate you being on the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. We'll see you soon. We'd like to thank our guest, Steve Turner from Bring Back the Trades and Turner Upholstery. Don't forget to join us next time on Connected with Lori.